I'm still dumbfounded. I really don't know what to say. There was a massive pile of wood here. Now it's gone and cleaned up.
Yeah.
Ready for another truckload.
Right. So guys, obviously we were picking up right where the last video left off, and we have a new log splitter. As you can see, we have been fortunate enough to get a Eastonmade 2228 log splitter with a 16-foot attached conveyor. And all of this would not be possible without two parties. One, first and foremost, Andrew Easton of Eastonmade Wood Splitters. Thank you so much. This is it's amazing. It's I'm humbled. I'm you know, I don't have words. It's really quite the opportunity you've presented us here at Dude Ranch DIY, and we are extremely grateful. And I personally am, you know, it's a game changer. The second party at hand is all of you guys watching. If this is the first video you're tuning into, you have helped. If you have watched every video since the very beginning, you've helped more, but you have still helped. You know, anybody that has liked, subscribed, commented,
shared, everything.
Yeah, anything. Come to the wood yard, met us, and got a sticker at any of these events. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, because like
we really couldn't be in this position without all of you guys.
Yeah, I started this YouTube channel, I don't know, 3 years ago or something like that, with absolutely zero intention of it ever really taking off. I just started out researching tractors, came across Mike Morgan, and I was like, oh, well, this guy was a blaster for a living, but he makes firewood videos. I'm a tree guy for a living and sell firewood. Maybe I should set up a camera, and, you know, it's just snowballed from there. And this is like
the fruits of the labor.
A culmination up until this point. We have no intention of stopping. We're, you know, this is just more motivation to keep going forward and making great content and being real as possible to show you guys, you know, what we do in and out, day in and day out, making the firewood, all of our hardships, you know, blood, sweat, and tears. And that's, you know, pretty much where all that I can comprehend into, you know, a actual sentence right now. This is the first day that we have this thing. The first video, you know, was today. We just decided to split it up. And thank you to Gary, who came out. You might have seen him in some of the clips splitting. He has been a loyal subscriber and fan, actually from Connecticut since the very beginning. He was on one of my very early videos. If you go way back, I'll put a link up here or something, when he came and visited me at the original wood yard over at my buddy Sam's house. And he came out. He, you know, knew that this was happening. This has been a long time coming. This thing didn't just show up. And, you know, it's just guys like that and viewers like you that make all this possible. So thank you so much. Without too much more talking, we're going to get into it. We're going to be splitting some more, cutting some more. That's going to be another day, but it's all going to be one video due to the powers of editing. Yeah. Hopefully I can make that happen on the old MacBook Pro. But, I mean, what did you think about this thing, just running it?
This thing is awesome. It's super beefy. The quality of the material, the quality of the workmanship is just out there. It's insane. The speed of it is great, and this box wedge was huge. We've definitely had some intimate time with the box wedge on
very intimate
on 1222s and things like that, but never on our home turf. And in this home turf setting, we got to dive deep into it, and we're excited for what's to come through it.
Yeah, I think the box wedge is great for guys like us that can pick and choose the wood that comes back. We really only bring back that nice straight grained stuff for the most part. I mean, we get crotches, we get knots and stuff, don't get me wrong. They're trees, they're unpredictable, no two pieces are the same. But for the most part, try and avoid bringing home the nasty stuff, and I think the box wedge shines for that kind of stuff. So let's get into it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that ain't going nowhere.
Ain't going nowhere.
Pretty far away, but I don't know if you guys can see, these pins have a pivoting lock on the back side. And somehow Jake has managed
to get it
locked
stuck
inside the tube.
inside the tube. That takes talent.
That makes him a professional.
Yes. Let's keep it real on Dude Ranch DIY.
Ran into our first crucial problem. The conveyor will not work if the chain's not on the sprockets. How'd we miss that? Always having chain problems on our conveyor, bud.
With a brand new conveyor, we still got the chain problem. Well, I felt it when I was doing it, giving a little resistance, and I came and checked on it, and I just thought it was.
I thought it was a hill pushing into the hill. Right.
Yeah. So,
Turns out we were just fighting that chain link
size.
around that bolt. Now we can't get it out.
No.
Got to take that bolt out, and hopefully
15, 16.
it won't screw anything up.
You ready?
Mm-hmm. Hold on. It slipped.
The washer. Okay. Now, are they on the same link?
Oh,
I think so.
looks like it.
Right?
Yeah. Washer.
Washer. Yeah,
I can't see what I'm.
You're close. It's the perfect.
Now let's put this in.
Put that on there.
Same.
Same. This hasn't moved. Put this on my hand.
Nice
Put
tool
this
set.
down. We didn't even need the big Ogadoga. I'd say we're golden.
Take two.
Take two. Here we go. Live action. Contact.
We should check the bottom sprocket too.
Alright. We're even. Hopefully we won't need that stupid chain brake tool. Am I on? Alright. guys, so as you can see here, this is just some real-time splitting. I filmed just one angle for this entire tote, and this is it. And this is obviously the real-time footage. The next clip is going to be the same clip, just sped up 8 times as fast. And the entire clip, like the entire time it took me to split this tote, the camera was running, was 11 minutes and 37 seconds. So that's pretty impressive when you think about it, to fill up a whole tote. And as you'll see, Chris isn't even helping me load the log lift, and he's also not helping me adjust you know, the wood in the tote. So that also takes up some of my time as well. But 11 minutes and 37 seconds, I think it was, is pretty darn impressive. So here we'll get into the 8 times as fast, and we'll talk about it. All right, guys, about 10 minutes and we got a very full, this is a small tote. It actually took more, it was about a half an hour that the splitter was running, but about probably 10 minutes of splitting. Chris and I are kind of doing a little bit of cleanup and burning and cutting all at once. This is all hickory. Some of it has ants on it. So this next batch, you can see, is a little hollow. The big hollow piece over there. So we're going to swap out this tote for the tote behind it and fill it up with all this ant type wood, and we'll just burn that in the burn barrel out here for like bonfires and stuff. Don't want to be giving the customers ants in their pants. How's the 500i cutting?
Great. It like any chainsaw, it doesn't really like hickory because it's so strong, but
yeah, and this stuff's been pretty dry too.
Yeah, it's really dry. This will probably take a match if you really wanted to.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't take much to get it up and going. But the box wedge on the 2228 is doing a great job with the hickory. I mean, you can see these pieces here. Hickory is pretty stringy, although this stuff is pretty dry. And this is, you know, this is good size firewood. This is, you know, about the size that, you know, if we were splitting it with the RuggedMade on the 4-way wedge, probably be making it maybe a little bit smaller, but you get a nice variety. You know, you got some small pieces like that, medium pieces like that, and then, you know, bigger pieces like that. So if you're burning or if you are doing fire pits or smoking or whatever, you have that variety. The smaller stuff to get the fire going, and the bigger stuff to keep it going. So speaking of keeping going, we are going to do just that. So another thing I wanted to mention was that if you'll notice, this tote has the front cut out of it. And basically all we had to do to be able to continue to stack it off the conveyor is stack up some wood, you know, going off into the corner there, and then some in the middle, and then again some on the other side, like 3 rows of, like, I don't know what that is, like about 4 pieces in each row, so 12 pieces to kind of make a wall, and then the conveyor filled in behind it. I'm really happy that that works. I'm not going to take credit for that idea. I got that idea from my buddy Elliot over at the Everything Elliot YouTube channel. Go check out his channel. He does a lot of firewood stuff too, bunch of mechanic stuff. Check out his channel. So I am curious to see, and so is Chris, how this transports. I mean, granted, the wood yard is pretty flat and open now and level, so there aren't too many humps and bumps, but still, it would suck if a bunch of that wood just came tumbling out. But I don't think it will. It seems to be in there pretty well. Talk to me.
So the one thing that I'm thinking about for these totes that have that stacked wall,
Well, that have the face cut out of it.
yeah, have the face cut out of it. If we flip it around and use the frame of the pallet forks to kind of support that wall as we're driving around, that might be the way to go if it doesn't, you know, hold up to the bumps in the road.
Yeah, and I'm thinking now that might even, if we just kept the frame of the pallet fork up against the opening as the tote was getting filled, it probably wouldn't be as stable, but the wood would fall in there and come to a natural, you know, resting place and probably kind of lock itself in. So that's something to think about. Maybe we'll try that with this next tote.
We got a problem. Jake was filling up the last of that tote, and somehow, some way, we got the box wedge stuck. It came out of the wedge lift arm, and a couple pieces of wood got jammed in there. The both of us tried hopping up on the log table and pulling it out by hand. It was not working. So Jake is in the process now of making room for the tractor to get in here with the forks and hopefully push it up out of the way from underneath.
Yeah, I think this is like the perfect storm where it just like, I tried to move it and then it came out, so then the wedge dropped down and now it won't move up or down because the cantilever like pivot point is just perfectly wedged right on the edge, the lower edge of the wedge here. So because the wood is stuck in there still, we need the wedge to drop down essentially so that that bar, you know, can go into the slot, so to speak. So we'll see, maybe we can use the tractor, brute force.
So those of you who aren't familiar with Eastonmade's, this blue part is the wedge lift arm cantilever, and this slot is what it rides in, allowing the wedge to go up and to go down on this bar. And if it can't get inside of this notch, it's going nowhere. washing it up. It'll allow us to get this stuck wood out of here. Once this is out of our way, we can lower it back down and get the cantilever hook back into its slot.
There we go. That was the culprit. So now we should be able to lower the wedge back down and it'll fit, you know, right back into the slot.
So we'll go on ahead and fire it back up. Now it allows us to raise and lower.
Well, all right, guys, we just got the wedge debacle sorted out and moved that last tote of hickory off to the drying area. Chris and I thought it would be fun to count up how many totes we have, and what did we come up with, Chris?
We are at 81 full totes.
81 full totes, so...
Not including Jake's personal fire stash.
Yeah, not including the big chunky like totes of all the crotches and stuff that I burn in the wood stove, which I think I have like 4 or so of those totes so far, and that's not including the 2 totes of kindling that we have that I'm just collecting and haven't started to bundle yet. I probably should do that. But
we got a lot of totes.
We got a lot of totes. We need a lot more totes. We need a lot more wood because this Eastonmade 2228 with the conveyor is an absolute game changer. We just split, I don't know what it looked like we split, but we just split 5 full totes, and on the hour meter that I just put on before we started filming this video, it was at 0, and now we're at 2 hours. So in 2 hours of the machine running, we were definitely not actually splitting for 2 hours. It was far less than that, maybe like an hour and a half or so. Between moving the cameras around, Chris was cutting, I was, you know, arranging the totes as it falls off of the conveyor to get everything, you know, as much wood in there as possible. So probably, let's say, like an hour and a half of actual splitting, and we got 5 totes done, which is, I mean, that's just so much more than, you know, we used to produce in that amount of time.
Like 2.5 totes in that time into the dump trailer, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it used to take me on the RuggedMade splitter, and it's no fault to the RuggedMade splitter. It's, you know, it has a 22 gallon per minute pump, whereas this has a 28 gallon per minute pump. But it used to take me half an hour to 45 minutes usually to split up a tote on the RuggedMade. You know, just 2 totally different machines. Not really comparing them because it's not an apples to apples comparison whatsoever. But this 2228 is really fitting the bill for what we needed. This is our saving grace. Because I was starting to get nervous looking at all these full totes, thinking about having to fill them up again come the fall. But I think Chris and I were just saying off camera that it's not going to be an issue to just keep up with it. Like, as we're selling the firewood, we could just come out and split up 3 totes in an hour and, you know, make up for the ones that we just sold. So
the other thing that helps us too is changing over from splitting into the dump trailer and splitting directly into the tote, because now we're not taking another 2.5 hours to sift through and stack the entire dump trailer.
Right. That's an immense help. Like, this machine was built for just making piles or filling up trucks or whatever. If we had to stack all of this wood in the totes, it just wouldn't make sense. And I'm so glad that we started, you know, primarily because we had that Linkit conveyor for a while, just filling them up right off the Linkit conveyor, because it works flawlessly. It saves us so much time not having to stack up all the wood. And honestly, I think it's gonna dry just the same, and I think it's pretty damn close to the same amount of wood that you're getting in there because we're heaping it up so much. So this is just the quick look of the drying area. We have pretty much, except for 1 tote down at the end to fill in the very last little section, have filled up most of, you know, all the way up to that big sugar maple tree. We double stacked all these totes. Now, I think we could do a third row in front of them, you know, if we get enough totes to do so. I still want to be able to drive around the log pile. It's been really nice coming in with trailers and stuff to be able to have a full loop and just drive in and out of the wood yard. But I think we'd still have enough room to definitely do a third row, at least a third row here. And then we have plenty more room down past the Takahouchi down there to go all the way up to the big rock again. So guys, that's going to be it for this one. As Chris just said, we are out of gas, we are out of totes, and we are almost out of wood. So we're going to wrap things up here and probably burn some more of these slash IBC totes. But even that, like, I don't mind all burning, having the burn barrel going 24/7. Yeah. It's been going for the past 4 days, and that's fine. It's kind of like a passive thing. Just throw a shovel in every 20 minutes, and next thing you know, the totes are empty. So no big deal. And those totes are actually really helping by having them underneath the machine, because it surprisingly does catch a lot, despite not having, you know, like a hollow grate for the stuff to fall down through. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. If you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, click the subscribe button down below. Some of you may have noticed we hit the big 10,000 mark on the day that we posted the Eastonmade video for the first time. So that's pretty awesome. It was like a double treat. So yeah, as always, guys, my name is Jake.
And I'm Chris.
This is Dude Ranch DIY. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys here next time.